Something happens, something that's supposed to wreck you or send you over the moon, and you're just standing there waiting for the feeling to show up, but it doesn't. No relief, no pain, no joy, just a flatness, as if you're watching your life unfold from the other side of the window. And that scared me more than pain would have. Pain at least reminds you that you're still in there somewhere. Numbness, however, doesn't tell you anything. Maybe it was news that should have crushed you, but instead you felt weirdly calm and then felt guilty about being calm. Or perhaps it was something you'd actually wanted for a long time finally happened. And instead of that rush you're picturing, that was just quiet. Nobody really warns you about this one. Everyone tells you how to handle crying or anger or falling apart, but no one tells you what to do on the day you feel nothing. And you start wondering if there's actually something wrong with you. I remember getting promoted into this big role that came with a raise. And when I heard the news, I felt absolutely nothing. And that was really strange because I worked hard for it and I knew I deserved it. At first, I told myself it was probably just a burnout and that I was dreading the extra responsibility. But then something wonderful happened to someone I loved, and I felt almost nothing there either. I said congratulations. I meant it in theory, but that was it. I kept waiting for the old me who used to feel things, excited, moved, happy for people, but she just wasn't showing up. And on top of the numbness, there was guilt. Guilt for not feeling the way I should have felt for someone who mattered to me. Then my brain went straight to the worst place. Why can't I feel things like a normal person would? Am I actually disconnected from my own life? I kept comparing myself to how I thought I should be responding instead of noticing what was actually happening. That I was exhausted. Not sad exhausted, just depleted. That's the word. In a way that had been building long before that moment. Here's what I've come to think of it after sitting with it for a while. Feeling nothing isn't the same as not caring. It's usually your mind's way of saying, I can't process one more thing right now, so I'm just going to put this on pause. It's not a conscious decision. Nobody chooses to go numb. It just happens quietly when too much has come at you for too long and your mind starts turning the volume down. It keeps you functional, it keeps you replying to messages and showing up to things, but it also pulls back the part of you that actually feels what's happening. Because feeling everything on top of everything else would be too much. And it's not selective about it either. It's not just muting the hard stuff, it's muting the good news too. The exciting stuff, the stuff that you actually wanted to feel. Because from your mind's perspective, it's not sorting good from bad. It's sorting can handle this right now and cannot. I used to think not feeling strongly about something meant not caring about it. And I believe most people think that way too. But those aren't the same thing. You can care about someone deeply and still feel numb. You can be grateful for your life and feel disconnected from it. Or you can want something very badly and feel strangely empty when you finally get it. Here's the thing about numbness though. You can't just tell yourself to feel again. Trust me, I've tried and it doesn't work that way. So instead of chasing the big feeling, I started with something small. I call it the 2% check. I stopped asking, what am I feeling? Because numb usually just answers with more silence, and that makes things worse. So instead, I asked, is there 2% of something here? Not the whole feeling, just a drop of it. 2% tired in my shoulders, 2% relief, 2% of just wanting to lie down and do nothing, 2% of missing someone. Maybe it's so small I almost don't notice it, but that's enough. And sometimes there's nothing there, and that's okay too. Because when you're numb, I think it's really easy to start performing emotions in your head. You should be happier, you should be sadder, you should feel more of this and that. And that should makes it even harder to hear what's actually there. The 2% check cuts through that. It's not asking what you're supposed to feel. It's just asking what's really here right now, even if it's tiny. You're not forcing the whole wall down. You're just proving to yourself little by little that feeling something again isn't dangerous. If you've looked at your life lately and wondered, why don't I feel more? That doesn't mean you've gone cold or broken or lost your ability to care. It means you've been carrying more than you've had the space to feel. Feelings don't just come back because we demand them to. They come back when we start paying attention again. When we stop pushing through everything and make space for what's happening inside. It might take time, but if you keep checking in, keep listening, and stop judging what you find, then you give yourself a way back. And one day you might be laughing at something and realize you haven't laughed like that for a long time. Or a song might hit you differently, or you might cry. And you suddenly realize, oh, I'm here. I'm feeling things again. You don't have to force your way back to life. You just have to start listening to the little pieces of you that are already there. That's what I have for you today. I hope that was somewhat helpful. If that resonated, let me know your thoughts in the comments or leave a like. And if you enjoy conversations like this, consider subscribing. Take care of your heart, be present, be kind, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.